Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex and I'm joined by
This guy.
this guy Nick. Check out my comics, Big Baby and Star Crasher at KINGCOMICS.CA. Check out my YouTube videos on King Comics 2021 YouTube, Instagram Maximus Rex 13, and Facebook Max Rex and or Big Baby. So as mentioned before, I'm joined by Nick. It is Kirby Monday, and we are looking at the next issue of his Fantastic Four run from the early 60s. This is issue number 7. So what we got here on the cover, the Fantastic Four, I guess, being framed once again. This is going to happen a bunch of times, right? Another trope of the series, I think. Wanted Dead or Alive, and a trope of superhero comics in general. Something in the inking here changes. There's something more delicate, smoother. I don't know how else to describe it. At this point, by issue 7, I guess they are picking up a little bit of steam. And maybe there's a bit more money coming in. And maybe Jack Kirby is just being afforded a little bit more time on his deadlines. And maybe getting paid a little bit more. These are all guesses and hypotheses, but, you know. Nick had mentioned this before in past reviews. Right now, still not officially called Marvel Comics, it seems like. Although this mysterious MC appears. So is that a precursor or not, something unrelated? I have no idea. Thankfully, though, it's approved by the Comics Code. So this will give us, like a lot of these...
But hey, are we getting the Hulk?
Not yet, unfortunately.
Damn it.
Soon, we're getting to it. So let's read the copy here, give us an idea of what to expect from this issue. Why does the human race turn against the Fantastic Four? Only the master of Planet X knows the answer. How many times has Planet X been used? I mean, there's 26 letters in the alphabet, people.
Planet X.
You know, or just call it like, you know, Brillium or something. Some weird word. I just made that up. We escaped just in time. We can't remain on Earth any longer. We've got to head for Planet X. Down with the Fantastic Four. All right, so there's some aliens. People are angry. There's your setup.
Kurgo.
The name sucks, but this establishing shot I think is pretty awesome. Kind of reminds me a little bit of last issue's establishing shot of Namor underwater. But again, slowly but surely, I feel like the tech and the aesthetic is moving into the 60s. You know, whatever design was being done at that time is starting to seep its way into the designs in the comic as well. And when I say design, I'm, you know, clothing, culture, household items, appliances, tables, you know, even we're starting to get an early 60s vibe more so than a 50s vibe, at least slowly. So yeah, what a weird design. Like Kirby's known for the big head characters, but the furry kind of face is an interesting kind of choice. Yeah. And we still get like the varying quality of panels. There's some great drawings. Then all of a sudden we get a panel like this where I'm like, oh man, there's just something funky about the face. Could be about the inking too as well, though. So there's that inconsistent inking on Jack Kirby, where most times if you see examples of his pencils from the 60s and 70s, he's pretty consistent overall.
I'm wondering if there's different inkers at this time too.
Yeah, from issue to issue, I definitely think it changes.
Or multiple inkers per
within
issue.
the issue. That's possible as well. Like at that point, you know, it's been talked about how, you know, none of these guys thought that this was anything special or art. It was just their job, to a certain extent, right? Even though Jack Kirby put a lot of effort and imagination into it, it was still just a job. And you know, getting the books out on time was definitely probably the number one concern, right? Even though we still get tons of great art through that. But yeah, inconsistent inkers at Marvel is definitely to the detriment sometimes of Jack Kirby art. Although, like on a shot like this, I think the inking's pretty darn sweet. Inconsistent is the word. So here's another example where like I start seeing, you know, the actual components and tech of the day starting to get kind of morphed and twisted into Jack Kirby's kind of style, right? Mm-hmm. Slowly but surely.
These little scenes there of Reed like twisting and turning in between his machines.
Well, it's almost abstract at this point, right? Or like it almost kind of becomes like a technical drawing or something. There's this thing that Kirby painted in the 70s. It's this big kind of widescreen image, and it's just tech. You've probably seen it, right?
Yeah.
And like I see glimpses of that. Basically, he seemed to enjoy doing that. Another funny kind of Mr. Fantastic, a funny use of his powers here.
Oh, so 2D.
Yeah, he's like squishing himself through the grate, I guess. It's an odd, again, we'll see less and less in that, those kind of power uses eventually. I like how he's loading up the bong here. It's like, hey, hey, Ben Grimm, come have a big puff of this, right? Maybe he's cooking up some DMT or something so they can travel to another dimension.
That's the real negative zone.
That's right. Jack Kirby, well versed in science. If you know a little bit about these, Marvel comics, any science aspects that are kind of coming through do come from Jack Kirby, not from Stan Lee. Just putting that out there. Just for those of you who might still wonder on the division of labor, I can tell you for sure most of the concepts in the comic are coming from Jack Kirby, especially when it comes to science. Much more up to date than Stan Lee is. He's got all the magazines, the National Geographic, Scientific American, right? And that's why you see a lot of, sometimes in his comics, for the time, pretty current and up to date scientific concepts, right? Or things they're working on for the future, even. I like this kind of satellite. It's the beginning of the space race, the Cold War. It's very indicative in the art. Hey, they're back in the hot tub. So, like, all of a sudden, right, again, inconsistent inkers really seem to, it seems to be most obvious on the Thing, right? So,
yeah,
the other characters are fairly consistent, but then how do you ink the Thing? And we're seeing, like, it seems like the fact that he's changing means that different inkers are working on different issues. At least it seems that way.
Or multiple.
Even within, the same
I
issue.
think it's very plausible that multiple inkers were doing it because Jack's output was so fast.
Yeah. They just want to get the pages out. This is another great, like, when I look at this establishing shot earlier this afternoon when I was going through the comic, I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, just the positioning, the framing, so many characters in there. The Fantastic Four are having their picture taken, they're being filmed, so they're a little more kind of stiff and stuff, and that makes sense. They're in front of the cameras, you got this, like, I marvel just at this and how hard it is to draw someone from this back 3/4 angle, leaning over to serve this guy coffee and holding, like, or tea, I guess,
right, yeah.
and then holding this, like, just this amazes me in this drawing. And it's not, it's one element. Everything else I feel is great. These heads in the foreground here, you get that there's the other table, even though you don't see it. Like, just masterful composition on that one. Yeah, one of my favorite drawings up to now. So I guess this is where the public turns on the Fantastic Four. Sure seems like it. They're very angry. So art-wise, we're starting to see him push it, but story-wise, again, it is still kind of that late 50s kind of alien invasion, sci-fi kind of tale.
Mm-hmm. Or they're invading, no? Aren't they on Planet X?
Is that what it is? Or
they're going to Planet X?
They're going to Planet X. Anyways, like I said, I didn't read the whole story, but they're going to get to Planet X. Yeah, so here.
Bound for Planet X.
That's it. So chapter 3. Are they on Planet X yet? I think... No, they're bound for it. Obviously, the title says it. So we'll skip through this because this is what I want to talk about here, this shot. So now they're...
There you go, yeah.
Yeah, they're on Planet X. They're with the Krogigians or whatever these guys are called with the furry faces. And so the graphic novel a couple years ago that Alex Ross put out, you can see that, like, this is definitely one of the shots he uses inspiration. He kind of recreated it, basically, just with a more kind of psychedelic, even more psychedelic color scheme. So check that out, definitely, that book. I've got a review of it. You can check it out. And I definitely... the review is is it called the Absolute Edition or the Super Mega Crazy Awesome Edition? It's oversized. It's got, the whole story, the pencils, the inks, it's a pretty complete volume, and it's some great Alex Ross stuff. So check it out, and definitely took a lot of inspiration from this here. And again, we're starting to see that Kirby majesty and imagination, the architecture and stuff, stuff like this that we'll see pushed forward in, like, New Gods and, a little less than 10, 11 years time. Good stuff. I definitely, get a bit of a new Genesis vibe with some of these designs.
Yeah.
Not so much these guys. That's the kind of stuff that starts to...
He was trying stuff out.
Well, yeah, and again, I still feel that 50s kind of cheesy vibe to it to a certain extent. So that's the stuff. The cheesiness to me will kind of fall away slowly but surely all throughout the 60s. by the time he gets to, you know, the later run of the Fantastic Four, like you said, around Galactus and stuff, even there, Galactus still has the big G, right? But
he's wearing shorts.
I feel like New Gods, when he hits New Gods, the cheesiness is gone and it's just kind of epic.
New Gods is epic.
Yeah, it's definitely. Anyways, we'll get into that when we get to New Gods. Here's another horrible shot of the Thing.
Oh my god!
And sometimes he starts to look almost like an amphibian, almost like he's got a lip here, like a frog lip. Yeah, it's fun. It is funny and fun to see the Thing's design just completely change from almost one issue to another. It's crazy. This robot again, I still feels more, you know, kind of a movie? 50s vibe.
What's that movie there? The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Yeah.
Is that robot there with the red eye?
It's kind of similar, yeah. Again, he's definitely getting ideas from movies and stuff. Later on, we'll see. Even in Fantastic Four, there's a lot of stuff that he takes from Star Trek as well.
For sure.
The show starts on TV. He was clearly a big fan of Star Trek. I could see, you know, a lot of the same concerns in his art and inspiration that he could take from Star Trek. Obviously, again, we're starting to get that perspective. Yeah, exactly. The crazy foreshortening, the Kirby tech, it's starting to take shape slowly but surely. Love it. That's a great panel. Great shot. So, you know, I won't bore you with too many of the plot points here, but I want to read this section here because I thought it was pretty funny. So basically, they have to leave their planet for some reason and then colonize somewhere else. They're going to die if they stay on their planet, but the ship's not big enough to carry them all, right? Is what I've understood. So Reed shoots him with this invention of his, right? And he's like, they're gone. No, Kurgo, not gone. They've merely been reduced in size, reduced 1,000-fold. It's incredible, but of what use are such elaborate parlor tricks? How will this save Planet X? Another Kirby trope, the small people, right? That he probably gets from like Gulliver's Travels. That issue of Captain Victory with the very small soldiers. I don't know if you looked through that one. Like, this is something, and he does actually a Gulliver comic in the 1940s, I think. So
there you go.
Yeah, for sure it's from there. So again, I'll read a bit more. This is hilarious. Don't you see my reducing gas? First of all, it's a gas that makes you smaller. It's like, how does that work? Anyways, my reducing gas can be fired by projectiles to every part of Planet X, where it will instantly spread, covering the entire surface of your world. Within seconds, everyone whom the gas touches will be reduced 1,000-fold. This means that all 5 billion of your people will be able to fit into one spaceship. Everyone on Planet X will find safety as you fly to another world. And upon landing on any new planet of your choosing, you need only release another gas projectile, which will contain the antidote to the shrinking gas. Very convenient, right?
Right.
So as soon as they get there, they have another gas to get bigger again, or back to normal size. Then as the people leave the ship and walk through the mists of the antidote gas, they will speedily resume their normal size. Your problem is solved. Wow. Mr. Fantastic is really good at problem solving. So now that you know that, what's funny is this Kurgo guy at some point, like right here. So they've been shrunken, they're getting onto the ships and whatever. Meanwhile, Kurgo, master of Planet X, grimly clutches the second projectile, the one which is said to contain the enlarging gas. I think he wants to make his penis bigger, but let's read on to make sure. Why should I share this enlarging gas with the others? Imagine you just wave a gas around your genitals and they get bigger. I'm kidding.
Oh dear.
I am the master. When we reach a new planet, I shall be the only one who grows back to normal size. See where this is going, right? If I keep the enlarging gas from all the others, then I shall be 1,000 times larger than they. They will be no more than insects to me. I shall truly hold power of life and death over them. Hear me, slaves. Obey my every whim, or I'll destroy you with a flick of my finger. Maddened by his savage dreams of power, Kurgo lags behind the others, clutching his valuable prize as Planet X crumbles about him. I can't let go of the enlarging gas. I can't. They're about to take off. I can still make it if I run, but I'll have to leave the projectile. I'll be as small as the others. No, wait, don't go. Wait for your master. So the ship's taking off, right? So it takes off without him. He's stuck, with his enlarging gas. But the planet's going to be destroyed and he's going to die, right? Okay. And thousands of miles away. Here's where it gets hilarious. Are you sure the enlarging gas will work when they reach their new planet, Reed? After all, you never had time to test it. There was no reducing gas, Sue. It was just an empty projectile. So basically, I lied to a whole population of 5 billion people. I lied to them.
Wow.
Right? I'm like, oh my God, like how they wrap that up so simply and like how morally there's just no question is hilarious to me. Like it's fine. It's kids comics. They're wrapping up the story, but like this part just made me laugh. And it gets better. I only told them about it so they could consent to my plan. So he lied to them so they would do what he wants, right? But once they reach their new world, it won't matter. They'll all be the same size. And in this vast universe of ours, one size is only relative anyway. So that's how he like, you know, rationalizes it away. He's like, well, anyways, they won't know what, you know, relative to everything else, what size they're supposed to be. So it doesn't matter. Like, it's so funny, like morally where that lies. It's just a comic book. I get it. But like, dick. He's a fucking dick. It's yeah, exactly. Here's another cool foreshortening, right? And again, don't have to draw the complicated bits. And so the Fantastic Four streak back to Earth, leaving behind the most incredible adventure of all time, never to know of the ironic end of Kurgo, the one who died for an empty dream. Funny how all of a sudden cosmic irradiation is not a problem for the Fantastic Four.
Right.
I guess because they have an alien ship that's shielded from it or something. I don't know. But so they're going back to Earth. Are they going to keep the spaceship?
I don't know. Earlier there was Namor. He's in space with just a glass dome. No suit.
No, yeah, no particular means of breathing. Just a dome on his head. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Hey, man, it's comics. You know, they weren't going that in depth with it back then, but still very fun to read and go through, and still very fun to see the slow progression of what the Fantastic Four will become. And that is the end of today's review, guys. So thank you so much. Those of you out there who are still subscribed and watching, appreciate your support. If you are watching but are not subscribed, please do so below. It takes only but a second for you. Really helps out the channel, helps us grow, helps get us out there to other people who are like-minded and are into comic books just like we are. Thank you, Nick, once again for being here.
No problem.
All right. And everyone out there watching, thank you so much and have an awesome day.
Like! Subscribe! Like! Subscribe!
King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13, 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at KINGCOMICS.CA, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.